All right, welcome in, guys. Farzi Vasugian here with you for another episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast, a Monday afternoon edition. Normally, we don't do a podcast on a Monday, especially at this time. But when there is breaking news, there definitely is a need to do a podcast, and there is some significant news today involving the Kansas City Chiefs running back position. If you see it with the headline on the title of the podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is you guys listen to the podcast, you already know there is some big news right now. A lot of people in shock right now. First and foremost, let's talk about Isiah Pacheco, who is dealing with a fibula fracture. And the reports on that, there have been all sorts of reports, but the newest one from ESPN within the last hour was that he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Well, that's unfortunate. Obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he is on injured reserve and is not going to be available at the earliest until week 5. That is when the Chiefs play host to the New Orleans Saints for Monday Night Football. So what options do you have? You have some IGP, Ryan. You have Carson Steele, a rookie on your team. What options do you have right now? Jerick McKinnon's available? No. The Chiefs are doing the unthinkable. Nobody saw this coming. The Chiefs have reached out to Kareem Hunt. Yes, Kareem Hunt. Of all people, the Chiefs are reaching out to him for a workout tomorrow afternoon. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. I never saw this happening. Somebody joked on the Facebook page when I posted about this that they expected Colin Kaepernick to return to the NFL before Kareem Hunt would even receive a phone call from the Chiefs. I don't disagree with that. I would have never predicted this. I did say this morning, I wrote a post, I said, listen, maybe you got to consider Kareem Hunt. And look, we'll get into Kareem Hunt in a moment, but I kind of want to go in order here. I don't want to jump all around, but with Isiah Pacheco right now, this is very unfortunate because Pacheco, I thought, had a very solid day yesterday. I don't think he had a great day like I thought he was going to, but he did his job. I felt like he was one of the very few bright spots on offense yesterday when the offense was struggling to get into a rhythm, and you saw a lot of turnovers. Mahomes had 3 interceptions, one of them called back on the Kelsey hold there, and then you had the hold or illegal hands to the face, whichever one, and then you had Carson Steele who fumbled, which, is very rare for him. That's not something he's had a history of, but a rookie who did that kind of mistake. But he ended up helping the Chiefs later on get some yards and get closer as they tried to win the game. So it's just very unfortunate because, and listen, you guys all know about Isiah Pacheco. This dude is tough. I've always praised him for his toughness. I thought that's his biggest football characteristic is his toughness. He's got great speed. Don't get me wrong, but man, his toughness is unlike any other I've seen from a Chiefs running back. And for him to go out like this, it's very hard to watch. It definitely is. And people have been talking about how, Andy Reid was mentioning he was very emotional and that, sometimes the sport can be unkind to you. In the worst way, I've said it many times, injuries are part of sports in a very unforgiving way. So it's very tough to see that, but his season is not necessarily over yet. But the Chiefs are not off to a great start. Record-wise, they are. But as far as their offense goes, which is something they need to be better about, considering how last year went, Hollywood Brown out for likely the season. We don't know if he's going to be available for the playoffs and how reliable he'll be when the playoffs are going to be his first appearance in a Chiefs uniform, excluding the preseason. That can take time to kind of get into a rhythm and everything. And then Isiah Pacheco goes out with this injury. He's going to be out for probably 2 months. You got to get something going here. I mean, Rashee Rice, he's playing very well. He's only just one of 4 wide receivers to have 75 or more receiving yards, one of four wide receivers to be clear, to have 75 or more receiving yards in the first 2 weeks, each of the first 2 games. We didn't see much of Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce is off to a very slow start. Now, I know Travis Kelce did get a really big reception on that 4th and 6 play, whichever one it was that got called back. And yeah, there was a penalty, but that penalty had nothing to do directly with that play. So, Kelce got a little bit involved, but only, held to 1 catch for 5 yards yesterday, had 3 for 34 the game against the Ravens. So Travis Kelce is off to a very slow start. Do I think he'll pick it up? Yes, I do. Andy Reid did say today that, defenses are zeroing in on him closer than they have in the past. Now, I haven't seen that. I have to go back and rewatch the game to double check on that. The all 22 is not out yet, but I'll take Andy's word for it. Yeah, I mean, Andy Reid would not lie about that thing. He knows that the all 22 is available for everyone to look at and check out. So Kareem Hunt, Hollywood Brown is out for a while. Isiah Pacheco definitely going to be out for a while. We're not sure if Hollywood Brown is going to play or not this year. We don't know if he's going to play a snap. Pacheco will come back, just not exactly sure when. It's going to be probably 2 months. But right now, the Chiefs are looking to an unlikely former friend. They're reaching out to Kareem Hunt. He is scheduled to come to Kansas City for a workout. This is not fake news. I even this is one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, is this for real or is this fake news? I did say this morning, what are the odds that this happens? And thought, what are the chances? Is there a possibility where the Chiefs have moved on? Yes, obviously it's a desperation move because Kansas City, the ownership, specifically Clark Hunt, felt very firm on the fact that this guy might not be a Chief ever again. Look, I don't want to go down this path, but I guess we kind of have to because Kareem Hunt, there is a very strong... Let me just say this. If Kareem Hunt's workout tomorrow goes bad, he's not getting signed. I would be shocked if he does not walk out of the facility tomorrow with a contract. Or if he leaves without a contract, to be clear. I think Kareem Hunt is pretty much a Kansas City Chief at this point. I really do. I think he's, unless he blows his workout, that's essentially what's happening here. We're obviously in this point because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on IR. Isiah Pacheco is about to join him on IR. So this is a situation where you look at the team right now, they're in need of some help. You got 2 key players on your offense that are not going to be available for your team, especially in the next few weeks. You need some help. And the Chiefs are going to Kareem Hunt, possibly. It's not official, but again, I'm very firm on the idea that as long as his workout goes well, he's a Chief. I think he's getting signed. I don't think the Chiefs have any time to waste right now. They really, really don't. Obviously, I'm sure the offense has changed a little bit. Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator when Kareem Hunt was drafted. And then the second year where Kareem Hunt did not finish his full second season with the Chiefs was obviously cut. Bieniemy was still on the team. Matt Nagy was on the... No. I'm trying to recall. No, okay, no, correction, actually. Matt Nagy was the offensive coordinator in 2017. Bieniemy became the offensive coordinator in 2018. So, correction. My bad. Yeah. So, he does have some familiarity with Matt Nagy. I take that back. Now, with that said, I'm sure the offense has changed a little bit, but I don't think it's changed too much. I'm sure Kareem Hunt has stayed in shape, has continued to work out. That's part of the reason why you're working him out to make sure that he's healthy and he can go to work for you. I don't know if there's a whole lot that Kareem Hunt would need to know. I mean, you're really just getting the handoff or a toss or whatever you need to do. And again, keep in mind with Kareem Hunt, when he was drafted, the big praise on him was that he never fumbles. Well, on his very first snap against the Patriots, he fumbled. And then what did he do? What did he do after that? He turned things around and he destroyed the Patriots. And they remember that game, the season opener 2017. Kareem Hunt dominated the Patriots in that football game. The best debut statistically in NFL history. So now you have a chance to bring him back, and he hasn't been the same running back. I don't think Cleveland's used him the same way. And keep in mind, it is Cleveland. I mean, they can't get anything right ever, but there's a very strong possibility that Kareem Hunt is going to sign a contract and become a member of the Kansas City Chiefs by Tuesday late morning or in the afternoon at some point. Yeah, Kareem Hunt just absolutely dominated that game, Cameron. Yeah, I mean, and I still remember the very first snap, and it's like, oh, great. This is how you start the season in Foxborough against the high and mighty Patriots. But listen, I see a lot of you guys talking about second chances in the comments here. Let's go through this here. I was very, very, very critical of Kareem Hunt and what he did. There are a lot of people defending him, saying, oh, he barely kicked the woman. Man, I don't care what. You just don't do that. And I think he deserved to get kicked off the team, and he deserved the suspension. I stand by that even, what 5 years later, 6 years later, however long ago that was. Feels like a lifetime ago. Maybe 2020 feels like, I blame 2020 for that feeling like forever ago. But the point I'm trying to make here is, if you want to go back to the incident, from the reports that were out there, he was partying with some people. Guess he came across a couple of cute chicks, and he said, "Hey, why not? Let's party." I think the reports were they later learned they were underage, so they were trying to kick him out. Unfortunately, you guys all saw the video clip. He did not handle it in the best manner. I mean, he didn't. There are a lot of unconfirmed rumors out there that she shouted a racial slur, which, we don't know. And by the way, there were other people there who weren't as worked up, but a lot of people were holding him back. He shoves his own friend into the woman, which, I don't know why you would even do that to your own friend. You got to just understand, when you're a football player, you don't get to enjoy a normal. I hate to say that. You don't get to enjoy the normal life. Do you think Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce used to do that? Travis Kelce did this a lot a while back. He can't do it anymore because, I mean, his superstar stature is on a whole nother level today. But Travis Kelce used to be that guy that would go out to Westport and hang out and chill with some fans, kiss babies, all these things. Maybe dance with a few ladies here and there. You can't do that today if you're Travis Kelce because, number one, I mean, he's in a very serious relationship with Taylor Swift. We know that. But even beyond that, it's impossible for him to be in a place like that for safety reasons. Now, not to compare Kareem Hunt to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in terms of, how they are in popularity and superstar status, but even if you're just, and I'm just picking a random player on the Chiefs, let's say Mike Dana. Do you think a lot of people would recognize Mike Dana if he's at a Price Chopper or if he's at a restaurant? No, probably not. And that's no disrespect. I mean, football players in general, a lot of their faces, you just wouldn't know because they have helmets on a majority of the time. And then we're talking about someone that's, not necessarily a pertinent player on this football team. Again, not to say he's irrelevant. He's not. But it's just not a fan favorite, so to say. But again, as someone of Mike Dana's stature, you have to be responsible with what you do out there because, and again, I don't know if this woman knew that Kareem Hunt was a football player, but whatever someone's a football player, you just never know if there's somebody out there that wants to do something cool or they think that's cool so they can make some headlines. Why do you think Patrick Mahomes, you guys all saw that clip about Patrick Mahomes when he was playing pickup basketball at a Lifetime Fitness in Overland Park or Lenexa, whichever one it was? Why did Brett Veach tell him that he can't do that? Well, first off, it's in the contract. Okay, but why is it in the contract? Okay, he's a quarterback. Okay, but even beyond that, you just never know if there's one idiot who puts out his ankle or his leg and wants to trip the guy. And if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, well, you guys all know how the internet works. They'll find out who that was, and that person's safety could be in danger. Patrick Mahomes has to go through, surgery or whatever, that kind of thing. My whole point is, if you are going to be out in public, whether it's partying with people, playing pickup basketball, you got to really be very careful with who you surround yourself with. And again, the reports with Kareem Hunt, he was out drinking with some people, came across a few pretty girls and, said, hey, why not? But didn't realize they were underage in the moment. And when they finally learned that, they were trying to kick him out. That whole thing, it's like, you just got to be certain you're hanging out with people who you trust. Yeah, sure. There are a lot of pretty girls out there. You got to be very careful about that kind of thing. I still remember Kareem Hunt was pulled over I think it was in Cleveland. He was already a member of the Cleveland Browns football team. And this was the same week the Chiefs were getting ready to play the 49ers in Super Bowl 54. He got pulled over and he just had weed in the car. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world. Unfortunately, the incidents, got to a point where it was kind of stacking up for Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt in the police dash cam footage. Yeah, Aurora knows what I'm talking about here. Kareem Hunt was getting emotional, and he even told the police officer, he goes, I should be playing in the Super Bowl. The police officer knew who Kareem Hunt was, said, look, I know who you are. I know what you've gone through, and you had a good season with Cleveland. He had a good first year with Cleveland, splitting time with Chubb in the backfield. But, even though, consider this, Kareem Hunt got to go play in his hometown, but he would have given that up to be able to play in the Super Bowl. He had a great chemistry and a great relationship with Patrick Mahomes, also with Travis Kelce. They're both Ohio guys, so those guys certainly are buds. They've hung out even after Kareem Hunt was kicked off the team. So in this situation right now, what year was that he was kicked off the team? 2018. Yeah, that was 2018, because that was the same year the Chiefs had the third highest scoring output in NFL history. Kareem Hunt's last game as a Chief was that epic Monday Night Football game where the Chiefs lost to the Rams, both teams scoring in the 50s. Remember that one? That was Kareem Hunt's last game. That game was supposed to be in Mexico. So kind of like a weird final game for Kareem Hunt, but perhaps that might not be his final game as a Kansas City Chiefs player. And if you're Kareem Hunt, I think, these last 5 to 6 years, certainly, there have to be some learning points in all of this. What do you take away from your time in Kansas City? What happened? And by the way, we got to be very clear. That was not the only incident. Kareem Hunt was involved in 2 other incidents. One that happened at PNL right after the Chiefs lost to the Titans in the playoffs. And then another one that there's no footage of, but Kareem Hunt apparently punched a guy in the nose. So I'm laughing because I remember when I typed that, you guys all know me with my typos. I typed that and I said he pinched someone. I don't know why, but I still remember that. Everyone was giving me shit for it in the comments, and rightfully so. But man, it's just like you had all of these incidents where you were involved in off the field issues. And one of those incidents, video surfaced. And it hurt you. It literally cost you your contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it cost you a possibility to be part of a dynasty. He said it in that, what was it, January of 2020, February of 2020, one of those years where, or months, excuse me, right before the Super Bowl 54. He's telling the police officer, I should be playing in the Super Bowl right now. Yeah, he's right. He should have been playing in the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, his actions, I think it kind of got to a point where, like, he had a phenomenal rookie season. He led the NFL in rushing as a rookie. And he may have let that get to his head. He turned 29 years old last month. It's not necessarily ideal for a running back, especially in today's NFL. But you know what, man? It's not like this guy was it's not like he was used as a workhorse in Cleveland either. I'm just looking at his numbers here. With the Chiefs, he ran the ball 272 times. He also caught it 53 times. This guy was very active out of the backfield. Ran the ball 181 times in 2018. Obviously, was cut and couldn't finish the season that year. His first year with the Cleveland Browns, he played just 8 games. He ran the ball 43 times for 179 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Also had 37 catches for 285 yards and a touchdown. He ran the ball a lot more in 2020, had 198 yards, 198 carries, 78 carries in 2021. 2022, he had 123 carries. Last year, I think he was not on the team last year, but Nick Chubb got injured in week 1, and the Browns immediately called Kareem Hunt, who was still a free agent, and Kareem Hunt came back. He had 135 carries. So 135 carries, 411 yards, averaging 3 yards a carry, had 9 touchdowns, had just 15 catches for 84 yards, no touchdowns through the air. So, and man, you know how Andy Reid does things. He loves to use running backs out of the backfield in the passing game. And when you look at what he did in Kansas City, 53 catches for 455 yards and 3 touchdowns his rookie year. His second year before he got cut, he had 26 catches for 378 yards and 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns through the air. He's had just 5 fumbles in his career. His first one we know, his very first snap in the NFL in Foxborough. He had 1 in his first year with Cleveland. He had 2 in 2020, and then he had 1 in 2022. He's only lost 1 fumble, though. So ball security's there. The numbers have kind of gone down over the years, though. For his rookie year, he averaged almost 5 yards a carry, 4.9 to be exact, 4.6 in 2018, 4.2 2019, 4.2 in 2020. 2019 and 2020, the same yard per carry average, and both of them with Cleveland, first 2 years in Cleveland. 2021, average 4.9 yards per carry. Now those are where things kind of go downhill for him. 3.8 yards per carry in 2022 and 3 yards per carry in 2023. So he's coming off the worst year, statistically speaking, in terms of his averages, both with yards per carry and yards per catch averages. So both were low. Can that kind of thing turn around in Andy Reid's system? Of course, there's certainly that possibility. So that might be a situation where Kareem Hunt could come into this offense and be able to improve. I've always said sometimes a change of scenery can always help. By the way, some news here. Peyton Hendershot has been waived. That's interesting. The Chiefs gave up a 7th round pick to get Peyton Hendershot. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, the season's over because Peyton Hendershot's no longer on the team. 7th round pick, it's a 7th round pick, but the Chiefs they've found a couple of good players in years past in the 7th round. We were talking about one of those guys, Isiah Pacheco. So I don't know. I just don't feel like you would want to give up a draft pick and let him go. But I guess, you gave up a 7th round pick? Sure. All right. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that there's an open roster spot. What did I say at the beginning of the podcast? As long as he does not blow his opportunity with this workout, as long as, the workout doesn't go bad, I think he is walking out of that practice facility with a contract as a Kansas City Chief. He will sign his, I don't know how this works when it's mid-season, but I guess 1-year deal to be a Chief. Yeah, Peyton Hendershot's highlight as a Chiefs player was him shoving Roquan Smith on the sidelines. Oh, man. Well, listen, people are talking about, some people have never made a mistake before. Listen, it's not about not making a mistake. Everyone's made mistakes, but you can't do what Kareem Hunt did. I mean, that's not acceptable. And he suffered the consequences for it. Listen, let me just say this, because, this whole thing about forgiveness, and I'm not a therapist. I'm not a priest here. I'm not here to teach you guys about forgiveness and all of that stuff. But I guess, in certain situations, and yes, the Chiefs are kind of in a very desperate situation right now because Hollywood Brown is not going to be playing anytime soon. Isiah Pacheco is going to be out for a couple of months. You need help. You definitely need help. And at this point right now, you got to look to Kareem Hunt. I even mentioned that name this morning as a possibility. I said you got to consider a reunion with either Jerick McKinnon or Kareem Hunt. And it seems like they're going with Kareem Hunt over Jerick McKinnon. And I can understand that, even though Jerick McKinnon was very good for the Chiefs. I think they want to go with Hunt because he's got maybe some more tread in the tires left. He's got some upside in him. And by the way, let's say Kareem Hunt, comes back to Kansas City, signs a contract, and he plays well. What happens when Isiah Pacheco comes back? This is going to be a strong 1-2 punch to try to close out the regular season and make that push into the playoffs. That could really go a long way for Kansas City. Has Patrick Mahomes had a strong 1-2 punch here in Kansas City? I don't think he has. And I think this might be the best backfield he's had in his time in Kansas City. Again, this is Patrick Mahomes and Kareem Hunt. I don't. How many games did they play together? I think just one. And I think it was just one drive. Remember Patrick Mahomes' NFL debut in Week 17 of the 2017 season when the Chiefs rested all their starters? The only starter they let play was Kareem Hunt. They let him get the rushing record, or the rushing title, I should say, for that season. And I think Kareem Hunt only needed one drive to do it. They just kept giving Kareem Hunt the ball. He got a nice touchdown run at one point, and they took him out of the game. So Patrick Mahomes and Kareem Hunt, they've never played together, but I'm sure they've spent a lot of time together in practice, even though that was a while back. Oh, and then the following year, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting about 2019. So yeah, they do have that. Yeah, Week 17, briefly, and then the 2019 season. I keep forgetting about the 2019 season. Yeah, so they've definitely played together. Man, I'm struggling to wrap my head around this. I did not think this was ever a possibility. This is crazy. There were a lot. I still remember that day. I'm sure you guys do as well. My mom actually texted me and told me about this. Said, hey, you might want to check out the internet. TMZ's got a story here. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird. And I just remember my brother and I, we were going out to eat, and we're both on our phones on Twitter, just kind of checking out the reactions online. And there were a lot of Chiefs fans arguing with one another. A lot of people were kind of upset. There were also a lot of people defending him. And then later that night, the Chiefs end up cutting. Well, first, the report comes out that Hunt is on the commissioner's exempt list. And then shortly after that, the Chiefs cut him. That was a very, very, very crazy day. And that was very tough. Kareem Hunt won over a lot of Chiefs fans in the very first game he played. I don't really recall Kareem Hunt having a big preseason his rookie year. I can't really recall that right now. But man, I still remember that first game whenever you can beat the Patriots, because the Patriots didn't lose a lot of games with Tom Brady back then. Whenever you can carry your offense like that, which Kareem Hunt pretty much did, everyone's going to love you. I mean, everybody was going crazy for Kareem Hunt that year. And he became a big star in Kansas City. Unfortunately, it ended pretty quickly in November or early December, right before the Chiefs were set to visit the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, they were the Oakland Raiders back then. Yeah, I'm just reading some of you guys' comments here. Some of you guys saying, second chances. Some of you guys pushing against it. A couple of you guys even saying he should have never been cut. By the way, a lot of people are saying, if the Chiefs never cut Kareem Hunt, they would have beat the Patriots in the AFC title game. But he was on the commissioner's exempt list, which is essentially a suspension. So he would have not played in that game anyway. Eric's asking, he's curious how Steele and Pirine will split the backfield until anyone else, Hunt, Cook, etc., gets acclaimed. You're referring to Dalvin Cook, of course, who's on the Cowboys practice squad. It will be run by committee again. Yeah, I do think it's going to be a run by committee again. Kareem Hunt. Now, again, it's been this way for a while, but we're in an era, of course, where you don't see a lot of down for down running backs anymore. Kareem Hunt was one of those rare down for down running backs in 2017 and 2018. I don't know if he's going to return to that form because it's been 5 years since then. And during his time in Cleveland, yeah, even with Nick Chubb's injury, he was still splitting time with other running backs in Cleveland. And you can kind of see that with the numbers there because his numbers were not even as high as they used to be. Yeah, in 2020, he had 198 carries. That's the second most of his career, edging out his final year with the Chiefs where it was 181. And again, keep in mind, that was a shorter season for Kareem Hunt because he got cut after 11 games. But you look at this team right now, they're probably going to split time between him and Pirine. And I'm sure Carson Steele is going to get some handoffs out of the backfield. Had some in this game, even before Pacheco's injury. Yeah, listen, I hated seeing Kareem Hunt get cut as much as anyone else, but for those saying that he should have never been cut, I do disagree. I think, for what he did, he should have suffered the consequences. And by the way, for those saying, he lied to the Chiefs. Yeah, he did. I don't think that's why the Chiefs cut him, though. I don't think that's why. I think the Chiefs maybe leaned on that because the Chiefs knew what happened. Maybe Kareem Hunt didn't share the full extent of the story. Yeah, I'm sure. But I think what happened on video was evident because look at the Baltimore Ravens. They had Ray Rice, and everyone knew what Ray Rice did, where he assaulted his wife. It wasn't until the footage came out where the Ravens were like, dude, you got to go. I mean, that was, and again, I hate to compare incidents and all this stuff, but what happened with Ray Rice on camera was far worse than what Kareem Hunt did. Now, don't get me wrong, what Kareem Hunt did was bad and wrong. But here's the thing. You guys all know how things go with Andy Reid. He's always willing to give you a second chance. 100% willing to give you a second chance. What's one of the biggest names out there that he's given a second chance to? Michael Vick in Philadelphia. And when Michael Vick has tried to go elsewhere, people have not been very accepting of it. He went to Pittsburgh and there was a petition to get rid of him. He came to Kansas City as a coaching intern during training camp. Again, coaching intern during training camp. My God, the Kansas City Star eviscerated the Chiefs for this, which is weird to me because if you did not like Andy Reid giving him an opportunity to be a coaching intern, you should have not been in favor of Andy Reid getting hired ever because of the fact that he gave Mike Vick a second chance. With Kareem Hunt, man, yeah, I mean, I think what happened was maybe things got to his head a little too quick because he did have the hot start in his career. Yes, Andrew, you have a good point there. You said that Rice, since he was in trouble still playing. Listen, here's the thing. And again, I don't like to compare incidents, but if you can stand behind Rashee Rice, I think you can give Kareem Hunt a second chance. Again, no one, as far as I know, I don't see anyone saying what Kareem Hunt did was acceptable and okay. But if there's anyone that's been very giving of second chances, it's been Andy Reid. And I know what a lot of people, a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, Farzine, it's Clark Hunt who has to approve of this. Do you not think there's a possibility that Andy Reid spoke to Clark Hunt? And listen, I know they say, hey, we got to go through tests and everything, but I think teams generally have an idea as to how long a player might be out for. And Clark Hunt, he's obviously not here during the week. Clark Hunt's only in Kansas City for game days and a few other special occasions. So I think Andy Reid and probably decided to get Brett Veach on this as well. I mean, you had to. And they probably had a meeting about this yesterday. They said, look, we might need to consider giving him a second chance. Again, this is Andy Reid we're talking about here. Forget about the fact that Andy Reid's given second chances. This is a guy that everyone wants to fight for. And whenever, other teams do all the trash talk and whatnot, like especially the Burrowhead thing, the way Andy Reid just kind of like stood up for his team, the puppet thing with Raiders training camp, and the way he did an interview with CBS, he's like, yeah, we don't play with puppets in training camp. And that's all he said. But with those very few words, you're saying quite a lot. He's always the guy that's going to defend your team. He's always going to defend his own guys. 100%. The Kareem Hunt thing, pretty hard to defend. I think a lot of people were upset, from the entire coaching staff, Bieniemy, who was also his position coach, Nagy, Andy Reid. Well, Nagy wasn't on the team when he was cut, but Brett Veach, ownership. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were upset and disappointed in him. But again, I think, if you can stand behind some of the other things that have occurred, like Willie Gay, and who knows what really happened with the whole vacuum thing. The Chiefs stood behind him. The Chiefs stood behind Justin Ross. Justin Ross actually ended up going to jail for that situation. The Chiefs are standing behind Rashee Rice right now. If they can stand behind those guys, why can't they give Kareem Hunt a second chance? They stood behind Tyreek Hill. Now, I know with Tyreek Hill, there are some question marks as to what really happened and whether or not there was some honesty or some lies about what was reported to the public about the college incident and the child abuse incident, allegation rather, in Kansas City. So Ruben says, I don't think Kareem Hunt has had any other incidents. He has not. He did have those two. He had 3 total in Kansas City. One of them we saw the video for. After he got cut by the Chiefs, there was one weird incident where he was at a bar and police showed up. We don't know what happened then. Apparently it was a misunderstanding. Well, of course they're going to say that. And then he was pulled over because he had weed in the car. Like, again, not things you should have, but yeah, and I know a lot of people have their opinion about weed, but not the worst thing in the world. There have been far worse done by other players in the NFL, and they've been able to continue their careers. I just think, here's my thing. Like, if you're Kareem Hunt right now, the fact that you even got a phone call from the team that cut you because they were pissed at you, this might be one of the biggest second chances I've ever seen in the NFL. This might be one of the biggest second chances I've ever seen. I think the only story that could top this in terms of like a second chance story would be like Colin Kaepernick. But Colin Kaepernick is not in the NFL. He's out of the NFL for different reasons. He was offered a contract by another team, but he declined it. But again, he wasn't let go because he was a criminal or did something bad off the field. This is a situation with Kareem Hunt where, you screwed up and this really hurt you. He could have been part of a very special dynasty, and now you can help Kansas City three-peat, and in this process, you can get your first ever Super Bowl ring. What a crazy story that's going to be. Now, we still have to wait, see what's going to happen, but he is expected to sign. I would be shocked if he doesn't sign. I would be really shocked. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, because I was one of those guys who pushed back against other people. I've said, no, this isn't happening. He's not coming back. And crazy enough, I was the guy this morning who said they should maybe consider this. And here we are. We are in a situation now where there's a very strong possibility Kareem Hunt would be a Kansas City Chief by tomorrow. And he could even play on Sunday Night Football against the Falcons. Listen, what do you really need to know with this offense? You've played in Matt Nagy's offense before, and yes, that was a long time ago, but you're really just getting handoffs here. Might be hard to get him involved in some passing plays. That's where, there might be some challenges, but that reunion, we'll find out in less than 24 hours. Again, we usually do not do podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays, but I think we have some podcasts that are warranted. We might be doing a podcast every day this week. I don't know. We definitely, we're in a situation where this is going to be wild. Patricia says when Pacheco comes back, he will be second. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's going to be second, but the way I see it, I think both guys will get plenty of action. The Chiefs will make that work somehow. They have to, unless Kareem Hunt just absolutely looks terrible in the next 8 weeks when Kareem Hunt's out, which is the reported time, 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, Kerry, I kind of just answered your question there. It is going to be 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, a lot of you guys are asking, what about Jerick McKinnon? So here's the thing with Jerick McKinnon and Kareem Hunt. Keep in mind, he turned 29 years old last month. With Jerick McKinnon, he's what? He turned 32 this offseason, which is not ideal in this day and age for the NFL. But that's not a guy that's, been carrying the football a lot over the years. Let me just see how many carries he's had in his career. 660. And he joined the NFL in 2014. Yeah, 21 last year, 72 the year before, 12 the year before. And then with San Francisco, he had 81. Minnesota, he had 150, 159 in 2016, 52 in 2015. In his rookie year, he had 113. So it's not like this guy has been getting the ball a lot in his career. And yeah, he's been involved in the receiving game a little more with Kansas City for sure. He had 56 catches in 2022. That helped him win AFC Offensive Player of the Month for the final month of the regular season that year. But yeah, I mean, he's a possibility. If for whatever reason things don't work out with Kareem Hunt, I'm sure Jerick McKinnon is on a very quick number 2 speed dial for the Chiefs. Do you think Hunt will be as good as he was or maybe better in this offense? Yeah, I don't know, Isaac. This is very difficult to answer because it's been a while since he's last played. And that's why you have a workout. I think as long as, he's healthy and in shape, I think he's getting signed. You're really not going to know if he's going to be the same until he's out there. So I don't know. The running back position is just so weird in the NFL today. You don't know what it's going to. You guys remember Todd Gurley? I mean, that feels like a lifetime ago, but Todd Gurley, he turned 30 years old last month. Todd Gurley has not played in the NFL since 2020. He started with the Rams back when they were in St. Louis in 2015. Obviously, they moved to LA in 2016. He spent his time with the Rams from 2015 to 2019, and in 2020, his only season with the Atlanta Falcons. He left the NFL at the age of 26. So this, again, the running back position is so weird. Like, he's just a little older than Kareem Hunt, but hasn't been in the NFL for a long time. So I'm not sure what it's going to look like. Do I think he'll welcome him back? Listen, I'm sure a lot of Chiefs fans have their reservations right now, but listen, the first 2 games are road games. So if he goes out there and just kicks ass, hypothetically speaking, they're welcoming him back. Listen, as much as I hate to say it, winning does change a lot of people's minds. Before we learned that there maybe was some dishonesty in the Tyreek Hill reports about what happened to him in college, a lot of people in Kansas City accepted what he allegedly did in college, which was he allegedly choked his pregnant girlfriend. Well, when he was here, people had no problems cheering for him. Again, obviously, we've learned, new details, and there's a possibility she may have lied. We never really got to the bottom of that, but at the end of the day, Chiefs fans cheered for him, and they were happy to have him. People were buying his jerseys. He was a fan favorite in Kansas City. Casey says, I think Kareem Hunt will ball out in his tryout year. Yeah, I mean, he's got to. He's got to. This is a huge chance for him, because I even said this offseason, and I was not, doing the whole, hey, well, should we bring Kareem Hunt back? I was not pushing for that in the offseason. But I did ask, how in the hell is Kareem Hunt still available? And I asked the question, I said, are teams holding that against him? Are they holding the video, all of that stuff against him? Because the only team that gave him a chance was Cleveland. And who was the general manager of the Cleveland Browns at the time? Former Chiefs general manager John Dorsey. That was one of John Dorsey's that draft was his last draft. the same draft he got Patrick Mahomes and Kareem Hunt. Which, yeah, by the way, I think a lot of people forget about this. Kareem Hunt and Patrick Mahomes were from the same draft class. Mahomes was in the first round, obviously, and Kareem Hunt was the next pick in the third round. The Chiefs did not have a second round pick. I think they gave that up to get Kareem Hunt. Let me just double check on that. But yeah, I mean, that's just wild. That is really wild that we're possibly 24 hours ago. Oh, no, I apologize. The Chiefs drafted Tano Passigno. Remember that? Tano Passigno. Where is he right now? Oh, he's with the Saints. Why is our entire defense from the past with the Saints? Tano Passigno, Willie Gay, Tyrann Mathieu, Colin Saunders, everyone's with the Saints. Interesting. Okay. I guess that's the place to be right now, especially since they're off to a really good start. But yeah, he's on the PUP though. So hopefully he gets better. But man, that was a good draft class for the Chiefs. That was a good draft class. And listen, I'm sure the Chiefs will have conversations with him. It's not like they're just going to say, okay, let's see what you can do. Are you healthy? Oh, you look good. Here you go. Contract. No, they're having conversations. And it's not going to be an easy one for Kareem Hunt to listen to. That's definitely going to be a moment where Kareem Hunt's going to have to, just close his mouth and open his ears. And I'm sure Clark Hunt's going to be there, either physically or he'll call in via Zoom or however, because I'm sure Clark Hunt has some things that he would like to say. And I'm sure the Chiefs would like to create some ground rules. Is Dirty Dan still there? No, he was. He got let go this offseason, I think. So no, Eric, he's not there anymore. Saints is where the Chiefs used to go. Used to be the Bears. Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, they're definitely going to have some conversations with him. They're going to set some ground rules and say, look, dude, we're giving you a big second chance here. You screw up once, you're gone. So I'm sure they're having those conversations with him tomorrow. Man, I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things said there. And if he does sign, he's going to do a press conference at some point, and the local media probably is going to want to answer some questions about his past. So that's going to be very interesting. Okay. I'm going to get out of here. I know I left you guys with a lot. You guys certainly had a lot to say. I appreciate you guys joining me for this surprise edition of the Chiefs Zone podcast. If you guys haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you're following on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, all of the locations where we do the video content, all of that stuff. Let me just comment with the YouTube right there. Because I do recognize a lot of new faces here, a lot of new names. Because I know a lot of you guys maybe don't tune in late at night or in the evening, which is understandable. So for those of you who normally don't listen live, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also do our live content on there. Also do a lot of video content on there. So if you guys haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, the podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/@thechiefszone. And tell a friend about it as well, so we can get the numbers up on that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. My name is Farzin Vasugian. Appreciate you guys downloading and listening to the episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast, and appreciate those who watched live on Facebook and YouTube. I am out. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.